Welcome to Alex and Annie, the Real Women of Vacation Rentals. I'm Alex,
And I'm Annie.
and we are here today with Matt Renner, who is the co-founder and CEO of PassPass. Matt, it's so good to see you.
Good to see you again. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're excited to have you here, and you've been doing some stuff since you left track. We're excited to talk
Yeah.
about that. And I dare say there's probably not many people that don't know who you are, but just in case there are, why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey and through vacation rentals and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah. So I originally started working for Ryan and Charles Bailey, who were the founders of TravelNet back in the early 2000s. And it's kind of on and again, off and again with the company for a few years. And then I started a small business in kind of 2009-ish. And 2010, they acquired my company, brought me back to TravelNet, and that kind of set off a 12-year sprint. And at the time, we were building a marketplace called resortsandlodges.com, which was kind of a direct-to-consumer marketplace. We worked with independent resorts, vacation rental companies, just connecting consumers with those brands and helping them. It was an advertising platform, pretty much, kind of like the old VRBO listing model. And in 2014, we decided to kind of go back to our roots because TravelNet originally actually started as a software company in the PMS space way back in the early 2000s. They had built a software called Res Tracker, and they had built a call tracking system called Phonalytics. And it basically was tools that they were using to give to resorts and companies to kind of power their back office while we did advertising and marketing on the front. And it was cloud before the cloud. And so it was like the wrong time, and it didn't work out. But, when we decided to get back into the software space, and we ended up acquiring a small company out of Tennessee called Resortzilla. And during that process, I became, a partner in the business and kind of helped get track off the ground. But that was actually the second time we had built a full scale PMS system. And so we kind of took the approach of like slow and steady. We kept our relationships going. We signed some key relationships with long-term customers that we had, Southern Vacation Rentals and a family resort up in the Northeast Pennsylvania. And it took about 4 years to really get the product until where it was like capable of really handling larger enterprise. Because at the time, when we were looking at the market, it seemed like all of the PMS systems that were in the market were kind of basically channel managers. They started as channel managers, and they bolted on some other tools. And if you looked at the time in the PMS space back then, kind of the leading enterprise solutions were kind of all the ones that were rolled up under HomeAway, right? Like Property Plus and V12 and these types of systems. And so it was clear to us if we were going to kind of find our niche, we wanted it to be at the larger enterprise scale kind of companies that we wanted to serve. And if we went to market too fast with that, we could have failed, right? We wouldn't have been able to meet the needs of the customer base. And so we first went to market with Pulse, which was our call tracking, lead management, CRM program. And we did that for about 4 years. And then in 2018, as fate would have it, HomeAway announced that they were sunsetting V12. And right at that time, we had just spent the last 4 years working with Southern Vacation Rentals and that team building out a whole enterprise accounting system and all of the stuff to be able to handle the needs of those kind of businesses. And so we were just ready. And then, it was like a rocket ship. In 4 years, we, signed the majority of what we would consider kind of the larger companies in the US, and the revenue followed, and then we had a nice exit in July 22. And I stayed on for about a year afterwards, consulting, still great friends with the team, love the team. But I spent almost 16 years at that company. It was pretty much my entire career, and I've always wanted to. I'm entrepreneurial. I've got a couple restaurants I've owned. I've got some investments, and I always kind of wanted to be the CEO and build another company. And so it just seemed like the right time. And I'm still an owner in the company, a minority owner, and friends with everyone, and still rooting for them. But it's time to go on to my next act. So it's kind of my backstory.
Yeah, time to try something new. And what you've tried that's pretty new, and we'll get to it in a little bit, but PassPass, where we'll do a deep dive, but very
Yeah.
interesting. And yeah, 16 years with one company is a long time. I can understand the need to want to try something different after all that. And you certainly racked up a lot of success over the years with Track, and it's been really fun to watch the journey. We've known you guys for a very long time, and when it was just the call center component, and were on resorts and lodges for many years, and a lot of those same people are still there today. So that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah, it's kind of, the old guard. It's funny to be the kind of the old dogs now, but 16-year overnight success, right?
And you're also a country singer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or at one point you were doing that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a musician. I've done music my whole life. A lot of people see it and they ask because they see it on social media, like on Instagram or whatever, and I'm on Spotify and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, how's the music going?" I said, "About the same as my golf game. It's a expensive hobby." Yeah, so you can find me on Spotify. Just look me up.
We can have him do our next theme song. That's what we need.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Well, back in the day, I don't know if you remember, but back at the VRMA conferences back in the day, there used to be an industry band that played at all the conferences. Vendors would all get together.
Vaguely. Yeah, I don't know that I ever actually saw anything. I feel like I've heard about
It's
that.
not too late to bring it back. We're looking for fresh new ideas, Matt.
If you're listening, my current company, PassPass, my partners are pretty much all out of Nashville, and they're all musicians from like popular touring bands over the years, or some of them are. And so I kind of joked, like, if we have a partner conference in the small business space, we'd probably have one of the better conference bands out there.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
love it. Okay, so you took your decision to leave track, and that was, again, I mentioned to you off camera, I was really surprised because I didn't see that coming. I thought you were going to be there forever, just you were a staple part of the organization. And in my eyes, as much as people know Ryan, it was always like if I talked about track, it was like everybody knew Matt. So when you left, it was kind of, I think for some people, just a shock, but maybe for others that knew you well, not a shock. But you wanted to go out and start something new. And so you have started something new, and we wanted to talk about that. So why don't you tell us what you've been doing?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, 16 years, that was half my adult life, so I kind of was there forever. Maybe it was a good thing, but it was nothing other than that. It was just time to do something new. And Ryan supported me the whole way. And I may have been the guy at all the conferences, but I mean, Ryan, the team that we had there, like it was a really special team that built that company. I was fortunate, to be a part of it. Yeah. So as far as what I'm doing today, kind of like in the vein of stuff that I've done my whole career, which is I've always kind of been a proponent for independent businesses. I've always been a proponent for the little guy, the entrepreneurs, small businesses. And so I own a restaurant in Woodbury called Birdie Golf. Birdie Golf is like an indoor golf facility, and it's a cool spot. And I did it because I wanted to play golf in the winter in Minnesota. But it's a tough business. It's tough to make money in small businesses, and small businesses are really squeezed. And what a lot of people, I'm sure maybe are aware but don't quite know is if you look at the world that we live in today, you have like a conglomerate of like 5 to 10 companies that have trillions of market cap, right? You have Microsoft and you have Google and Apple and these massive, massive companies that have trillions and trillions of value, and they employ like 700,000 people, right? And they're really important for our society. They do good things for our society. But if you look at our economy, there's 33 million small businesses, independent business just in the US. And it's over 60 million employees. It's almost 6 trillion of GDP. And it's 43% of our total US GDP is small businesses. Right. So it's like 100 times the amount of people that work at these small businesses than this small consortium of companies that hold all the power. And if you look at those small businesses, it's something like 65% of all small businesses go out of business within 10 years. Right. And so you're talking about 20 million people and businesses, churning, every 10 years. And the stress that puts on our economy, the stress that puts on families, the stress that puts on communities. Look at it in our own space, in the vacation rental space. How many companies have gone out of business in the last couple of years? How many millions of dollars of investment, either by institutional investors or by just family offices or whatever? There's just a lot of stress on it. And then you add in, persistent, inflation or stagflation, whatever we're in right now. You add in taxation, and you add in kind of the instability of the economy. And I think people are really struggling, is what I've seen. And so, when I was thinking about what I wanted to do next, I was talking to my business partner, my co-founder Edgel, and we were working on this media company at the time, and we were trying to find a way to make money off of the audience that we had, because advertising wasn't a very good business. And so we said, well, why don't we create kind of a co-op marketing platform that we could opt in companies to give us offers, and we'll sell kind of like a discount card. let's start there. That wasn't new. That's been done before and everything like that. But we just needed a place to start. And so we went out into Nashville and we signed up a bunch of businesses and they came on and we were selling a little discount card. And that was going okay. But then we were talking to one of our customers, a company that's on the platform called Nashville Tractor. And it's like a tractor tour guide in Nashville. And we're like, we're trying to sell more of these cards. Do you have any ideas? We're testing price points, all that kind of stuff. And the owners is like, well, why don't you let me sell for you? And I was like, oh, that's interesting. He's like, yeah, why don't you just let me sell it and I'll split the cash with you? And we're like, oh, okay. How many do you think you can sell? He's like, well, we do 100,000 rides a year. We probably sell 50,000 of these. And we're like, okay, that's interesting. I
Yeah.
wonder how many other businesses would be interested in giving a deal to the marketplace and then selling the card and making some money off it, like co-oping it
Yeah.
basically. And every business we talk to is like, yep, sign us up. So we're like, okay, we've got something here. So we shut that program down. We rebranded as PassPass. And so what PassPass really is, we're still trying to work out like the proper nomenclature, but it's basically a direct-to-consumer location-based app. You open up the app. It's kind of like Zillow or Uber. You see all the businesses around you. Every business that's in the app, it's free for the business. So it's free advertising for the business. They could put their business in the app under whatever categories they fall under. They offer a deal to the consumer. The consumer pays $5 a month for access to this app, and they can use it anywhere they go, presumably in the world eventually, and just open it up and see what's around them and get a deal. And it's really simple, easy user experience, kind of like Uber for discounts. And what's unique about it is any business that wants to share in the membership revenue with us, if they refer one of their customers to PassPass, and that as soon as that customer signs up with PassPass, we deposit $2.50 into their account. And then in perpetuity, we share the revenue back with the business that brought on the member. And we essentially are helping every business create their own subscription business on top of their core, whatever their core business is. The only requirement is they have to offer some kind of a discount or deal to the membership. So that's where the win-win comes in. Because if you look at kind of traditionally discount industry, people don't really think of it as an industry. They just think, well, coupons, we do coupons, or we do a promotion or a discount or whatever. And some people are snobby. They're like, oh, we don't do promotions.
Right.
Like, well, Target does, like
Yeah.
everyone does,
Yeah.
right? Especially when times are tough and you need to generate demand, people do promotions,
Yeah.
right? It's just what businesses do. It's been around forever. But the way it's been done, it's sort of been the same thing forever. You pay Valpak or you pay Groupon or you pay some company to take a deal, put it in their database and either mail it to someone or email it somewhere or whatever. And so what you end up having is you end up having a bunch of businesses that are paying to give away their product,
Right.
right? Or
Yeah.
to give some kind of discount on their product. And if the customer comes in and uses it, you're making maybe 30 or 40 or 50 cents on the dollar, or in situations like a Groupon or something, you might be losing money on those customers just to try to get them in the. And so with our program, we decided to do was let's make it free for the businesses
Hmm.
so more businesses participate. Let's charge a small monthly fee to the members. They're going to get access to many more discounts to be able to save. Could be a small amount here or there, but it'll add up. And then let's split the revenue. And so we take essentially almost 66 cents out of every dollar and we put it back into the network. Our mission is to keep every business in business. And our vision is a world where consumer savings directly correlate to the success of business. So make it more of a win-win, and then we're building the platform to allow that to happen.
I love it. Yeah, it makes so much sense, and I know when we tried to use Groupon, it's like, I mean, you had to give an offer that was not available anywhere else, and in order to do that, it would undercut what any of our upside was in it. So to your point, it's like those really weren't even good bookings on the vacation rental side, at least. I know for regular businesses, restaurants, spas, anything else that uses it, that's normally the case, and I guess you can look at it as a way of acquiring a customer, but when those people are coming in specifically for these like bottom discounts, like there's not a whole lot of repeat customers that are going to come in that way. So I like this.
Yeah, and if you look at the vacation rental industry, you maybe get one shot at a person per year. And
Hmm.
if you think about in the software world, when we sign up your company, we make money every month forever as long as you're a member of.
Right.
If you look at all of the largest companies in the world, what do they all have in common? They have
Recurring
recurring
revenue.
revenue.
Yeah.
And so we went through this whole phase, through call it the mid 2010s into the early 2020s, where all these vacation rental companies were coming out, oh, we're tech enabled and blah, 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 but they weren't subscription companies. Yet they were getting multiples like they were, but they still had to serve a customer, and that has COGS and that has labor and that has acquisition cost. And if they don't come back, you don't ever get to monetize them again. And so why not? Our theory, or at least my theory in the vacation rental space, is every company in this space needs to think of themselves as they have a customer funnel. They're spending all of this money, whether it's with commissions to third-party channels or whether it's through their direct marketing efforts. They're spending all this money to acquire a customer. And when that customer leaves, if they don't come back, there is no lifetime value of the customer. It's not like software. Software, you have customer acquisition cost and lifetime value. That means how much did it cost to acquire and how long do they remain a customer? But that doesn't exist in the vacation rental space. So with PassPass, what a vacation rental company could do is they could sign up with PassPass for free, get found in the marketplace, give some type of a deal, some kind of an offer to acquire the customer. When that customer then signs up for PassPass, and then they maintain the PassPass after they leave and they go back to wherever they came from and they're using it and getting value and saving money and everything. Well, in perpetuity, that vacation rental company now is making $30 a year off of that person, and now has also developed a following of thousands of people through the app where they can reach and communicate directly with, and they know who their customers are. And so that is how I think vacation rental companies should start thinking, is they should start thinking about, look, you're getting squeezed. Your fees are getting squeezed, whether it's by the OTAs that are putting the pressure on you. Pressure's coming from everywhere on margin. And how do you build some other sort of business or source of revenue on top of all of these customers that you have, come high value customers, by the way, that are spending lots of money? Why not just give them a pass, and then when they maintain it for the next 10 years, you're making money off them, and you've built a relationship. So we're already signing up companies in the space. Companies are coming to us, and I think it's going to be something that, people be interested in.
Because as you're talking through this, I'm thinking about back in my vacation rental days and just kind of some of the arguments that's going on now about the amount of revenue that's driven within a market. Do you see yourself being able to share data to municipalities, to, some of these advocacy groups that are trying to determine like what is the true value of a vacation rental guest within the market? I think people can guesstimate that, but it's like this would really give you a good sense of like what they're spending in a market by, even if they didn't use the
Yeah,
coupon or the
absolutely.
discount.
Yeah, so it's actually really interesting you bring up. So on our roadmap, we're first of all, we're launching in July. Okay, so right now, all we're doing is we're building out. Thousands of businesses all over the country are signing up for this. A marketplace has a chicken and the egg thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't have the offers, if you don't have deal density in a market, then if a consumer signs up for the app and they download the app, even if they get it for free, for 30 days or whatever, if they don't get any value, they're not going to keep it,
Right.
right? So right now, we're just in the process of building out our marketplace. But in our roadmap is we are going to be integrating with all the different point of sale systems so that when a perk or a deal or discount is redeemed, we will be able to sync up to that person exactly what they purchased, and we will have that data in the system. I don't know what that's going to look like in terms of how we'll use that data. Mostly it'll probably be used for providing a better experience for the consumer, right? If we know their purchasing habits, we can use AI. We can build models to kind of help them discover other things. We can build pricing indexes to help people understand where the best deals are, things like that. So, we're really focused on building a world-class consumer brand and consumer product. But I think core to our value proposition is keep every business in business. That's our mission statement, right? Keep every business in business. And so if you have municipalities or you have politicians or whoever that are fighting against a business and we're supporting that business, it's in our mission statement to do what we can to try to help people understand the value of these businesses to the world. So I would think at some point, if we're ever in a position to help that way, I would think that we would at least be aligned with our mission.
We'll be back in just a minute after a word from our premier brand sponsor, HostAway. Buying a new property management system can be a daunting task. We get it. Researching, implementing, and onboarding new software can be time intensive and costly. And there's always that lingering fear that the product might not deliver on its promises. But for short term property managers, there's a game changer in the industry.
That's right. HostAway is the fastest growing and top rated property management system for short term rental property managers. And for good reason.
HostAway doesn't just streamline your operations, it makes you more money. Thousands of HostAway users have quickly realized their return on investment with profitability boosting features like
increased bookings through multi-channel distribution, cutting out commission by driving guests to your own direct booking website, and increased revenue per reservation through offering tasteful upsells.
Plus, with connections to industry-leading dynamic pricing products like Price Labs, you can increase bookings and your ADR without worrying that you're leaving money on the table or pricing yourself out of the market.
Listeners of Alex and Annie podcast can onboard HostAway for only $100. That's $400 off the regular onboarding fee. Visit get.hostaway.com/Alex and Annie for a demo and to learn more.
Ready to go pro? Learn why thousands of property managers are using HostAway to take their vacation rental business to the next level.
Visit get.hostaway.com/Alex and Annie and get started today.
So what does the distribution look like and the outreach to get these businesses, whether it's regular restaurant stores in a market versus a vacation rental company? What does that look like at this point?
Yeah, so we decided not to try and go out and raise, the $100 million or whatever, right? So we did raise some money, but we're kind of taking a more grassroots approach. I think that's best. You do the hard work, you get the good results. And so we're not trying to partner with big aggregators. We're not scraping. We're not, we're going hand to hand, business to business. And one of the ways we're doing it is we built a 2-tier affiliate system. So some people may hear that and be like, oh, you built a network marketing company. You built a pyramid scheme. No, it's not a pyramid. It's not about recruiting your friends and, buying a bunch of product. It's a referral program is what it is. And so anyone or any business can sign up to be a referral. It's kind of like if you refer someone to the Cash App, you get $5, right? The difference is, let's just say you are, I'll use an example. Let's say I'll call out one of my old customers, Jacob Dwyer. Okay, let's say you're Real Joy, right? Real Joy has been in that market how long, right? In Northwest Florida. They know all the business owners. They probably had conversations about marketing programs and deals and everything like that. So Jacob signs up Real Joy and he's going to put a deal in the marketplace, and we give him 1,000 memberships to give away for free for all of his customers when they book. So he can use it as an incentive to get people to book with him. It's kind of a value add to his guests. Then Jacob sends his team out into the community and they sign up, 100 businesses around where they serve and where they have their customers. Well, every business that Real Joy signs up, they will earn a revenue share off of every membership that's sold through those businesses
Oh,
as
wow.
well. So let's say, they go sign up 100 businesses, 100,000 people come through all those, because Jacob's not going to, host everyone, right?
Mhm.
And sorry if you listen to this, Jacob, but let's say they had 100,000 members. Well, that would pay out $450,000 a year to the affiliate that referred all those businesses into the program. So it's just another way that, again, it's all about network effects with our businesses. We bring a business on, they bring other businesses on. Now the member has a bunch of places they can redeem and save money. So they're saving money. So they have no problem paying the $5. And then we split that $5 back with the community and we take some for operating the platform.
No, it makes a lot of sense. I know in our market here, and I'm sure in most markets, back in the day, you had the monster coupon books that were in the front lobbies. And as people have transitioned from in-person check-in to now all being digital, those books don't get distributed anywhere near the way that they used to. So I think the competition has gone down for you as well. But just even from being thinking about from the vacation rental company perspective, I think a lot of companies want to do something like this internally where they go out and they get discounts from local restaurants and stuff like that. But it can end up being a nightmare to manage that. So this kind of
Right.
makes it easy. I mean, they're doing one thing, they're distributing it to any of the companies that they already, know and their guests go to, but then that's it, and then they're still making money off of it. So I think you've solved that problem of the legwork and the tracking on everything.
Exactly. And there's a whole back end system. So like when you sign up, you get a portal you log into, you can manage your deals, you can see all the members that signed up through it. You've got all their contact information. You can see how many times they've redeemed deals. You can change out your offers. It's completely controlled. It's not a review site, right? We're not trying to weaponize people, like
Mhm.
leave reviews to Yelp and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like we're here. Think of our company as like a big Costco membership for the world. Think of it that way, right? And so people are going to get value from the app, but instead of us keeping all of the money, we're putting the money back into the network that are providing the services in the form of a subscription. Whereas those old books, the problem with those books is once they're done, they go home.
Yeah.
Like if they fly back to Minnesota and they can't use those coupons in Minnesota. So what? They got to buy another $30 or $50 coupon book in Minnesota, right? And then it expires, and then you got the shipping costs and the printing costs, and like, is that really the best model? Probably not. The best model is a global co-op that's all inside of a simple, easy to use app, and then you share the revenues with the people that build the network and that provide the services. And that's really what our model is about, is that when someone gets a membership through the vacation rental company, anybody that signs up through this, will give them free credits when they sign up so they could just give memberships away as a value add. And then when people go home to Minnesota, we've already got 200 businesses in Minnesota all over the Twin Cities that are signed up that members can now use the coupon or use the app and get deals. So they're more likely to keep it for longer afterwards. And because they got it through that business, they're now following that business on the app. Let's say the business wants to do, some kind of an offer in the fall or for rebooking or something. They push it out. They've got 1,000 followers. 1,000 people are going to get a push notification. It's free. We don't charge the businesses. So that's the win-win. When we talk about win-win, that's what we're talking about. We feel like if we make this really good for businesses and accessible for all businesses, then more businesses are going to participate and give better offers and better deals for our members. And that's going to benefit the members. And that's where the win-win comes in.
That's so cool.
I think not having to have multiple layers of work to be done. I think back, and Alex and I both experienced this in years ago, where it was like you had to go out and negotiate a deal, and then you had to like get the coupons printed, and then you had to like get it to the like there was just so many pieces that it just became you almost had to have a full-time person to do this. So this is like just a lot more condensed in steps and easier. And I
Well,
would
you signed up today, didn't you?
I did. I did. I had to see what it was all
Yeah.
about. I had to see
We
what it
both
was all
It
did.
was
about.
easy, right?
It was very easy. So I'm excited about that. But I wanted to ask you, so you said you're going to launch in July. How many markets do you think you're going to be able to launch that time?
We're primarily focused on 4 markets right now. That's at the corporate level. This is not just for vacation destinations, by the way. Like we have affiliates and businesses all over the country that are signing up, but we're focused on the Twin Cities, Minnesota, Nashville, Atlanta, and San Diego as core markets. And part of our thesis is, just from a business standpoint, like go-to-market strategy, part of our thesis is with getting vacation companies is that we know that they have a high volume of high value guests that are coming through, where if they build out the vacation market and the guest comes through them and gets it, we want to make sure that when they go back home, wherever they go, that there's plenty of deals where they spend 99% of their time, which is their community. And so we're focusing our corporate kind of sales and marketing and everything on those core markets. The reason we're starting with feeder cities to Nashville is because that's where the company is headquartered. And so we want to make sure that when people come to Nashville, that they go home, that there's deals there.
And so whether you sign up with a restaurant, a gas station, a vacation rental company, no matter who sells it to you, it's all digital. There's no actual card. It's just download the app.
Yep. Download the app. You can save it right to your Apple Wallet or Google Wallet. Pull out the app anywhere you go. You'll be able to just open it up, and just like OpenTable or Zillow or any location-based app, it's going to show you what is around. There'll be a feed where it'll start to recommend businesses. If you're following a business, it'll notify you if there's a deal in there. If you're a member and you just like the app, and let's say you just want to refer, your brother or your sister, your mom, your dad, your uncle, whatever, if you refer them and they sign up for the app, We pay you $1.75 a month in perpetuity. So if you refer 3 members to the app, yours is free forever. And then we just want to make it super simple for business to sign up. So if you're an affiliate, sign up as an affiliate. You'll get a login. You log in, you grab your link, you share it. If a business signs up, it's now connected to you. We take care of all the setup. We take care of all the support, all the outreach. All you got to do is sync your bank account up to it and refer businesses in. And at some point, you'll start getting some mailbox money.
Are you providing to these companies a sales material, whether it's in person or like in their confirmation email, stuff like that, on how they're actually going to distribute it?
Yeah, we provide all that. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot. This is the fun stuff, though.
For you talking about it, I know why Ryan's hair is gray.
Oh.
Yeah.
You mentioned that kind of the mission was to help businesses and to support businesses. And so one of the things that I know I hear in my market a lot is that when these big franchises or big brands come in, they squeeze out the local guy that's had this coffee shop for 10 years or the local mom and pop restaurant. Do you see yourself avoiding relationships with big brands? You know, it's just like in the restaurant space, like there's so many of those you could go to, like a TGI Fridays or whatever. Do you see yourself steering away from that and really wanting to work with the local flavors of the communities?
You know, what a lot of people don't really know is most franchises, in fact, a lot are like locally owned.
Right. Yeah.
They're locally owned franchisees. So
Yeah.
like we've got 14 Jersey Mikes up in Minnesota. Well, that's a local family. They've been in
Yeah.
the community. You know, they had some success in business. They started a sandwich shop. And so, you know, they're getting squeezed too.
Yeah.
Like in California, when they recently did this $20 minimum wage for fast food workers, you instantly had all of these businesses go out of business. You've got franchises that employ thousands of people that are locally owned franchises where the owner might only make 50, 60,000 a year out the franchise. And now because of this change in policy, they're barely making any money off of it. So to your question, are we specifically going after large corporate brands? No, we're not. What we're specifically trying to do is to help level the playing field for all businesses to be able to compete. I think it's kind of Main Street versus Wall Street in a way, right? Like, you know, why should Google make all the profit? Right. But if you're a local franchisee and you want to put your, you know, your Jersey Mikes on our platform, great. You know, we'll support you as well. I love their sandwiches. Right. But I don't think it's about like trying to squeeze out the big guys.
Sure.
I think that they're not going to care anyways.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're focused on the independents. We're focused on people that are, you know, entrepreneurs. And if those, you know, large brands eventually want to work with us, we'll, you know, we have to consider like, what is good for the consumer of the app, what makes it a good experience. Because if the consumer's getting value out of the app, they're going to continue to use the app. And we're putting 66 cents back into the marketplace. Everyone benefits.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just think that we need to be thoughtful about that. But no, I'm not trying to call Howard Schultz and, you know, get 1,000 Starbucks.
Sure. I just wanted to ask the question because I was just curious about, like, you know, that is a comment that comes up in smaller markets a lot of times, is people feel that, but you're absolutely right. I mean, I know people that have owned franchises and they do tend to live locally. They are there and they're struggling just as much as anybody else. But I think there's that perception of the big corporate overlords that can come in and put other people out of business. So I was just curious.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's definitely something to consider for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like the destination marketing organizations, chambers of commerce will love this as well. Have you thought about the angle for pitching this to those types of groups?
Yeah, it turns out there's a lot of them.
Yeah. For sure.
And they all need our membership. And we're like,
Oh, you guys be a member. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But no, you're right. Their job is to advocate, you know, for their businesses and their communities, right? And so, like, we feel our mission is perfectly aligned. So, you know, we're in the Nashville chamber, we're in chambers all over the country now, and we're going in person, boots on the ground. We have market managers in the markets that we're in. They're boots on the ground. They live in the communities. We don't have like a central, you know, HQ somewhere. We're totally remote company. So it's really like a grassroots movement more than anything. Like, we incorporated the company January 4th. We launched our pre-registrations at the end of February. And we have, you know, 800 affiliates that are boots on the ground, bringing on businesses all over the country. We have hundreds and hundreds of businesses signing up, and chambers are like perfectly suited to provide this to their members, and because it's free and it helps them. And so those are some really good relationships that we've developed so far.
And you've also brought quite a few of your old teammates onto the roster now, which is exciting too. Maybe tell us a little bit about that and how you've built out the team.
I think it's just the world we live in. People do things for a couple of years and they move on, and while I'm not interested in recruiting anyone from my former company, like it's in my best interest. I'm an owner in the company. I support the company. I want everyone that's an A player to stay there and just kill it at that company. But, if people leave there and they reach out to me and they're interested in a role I happen to have at my company and I worked with them before, I'm always, open to having those conversations. But, I want to be careful to make sure that this is not a vacation rental only business.
Right. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
this business is for all kinds. And so we're trying to take the things I learned, being part of a special company that built a special culture, and we're trying to hire for that culture. And so, where those people come from, as long as they believe in our mission, as long as they fit the culture, they understand what we're trying to accomplish, then we're going to take a shot at it.
Well, that's super exciting. Well, we knew you before you were who you are now, and now we're meeting you again, and we can't wait to see where this continues to go. And hopefully, this is the first interview that you'll do of many on this journey, and I know that will be the case. But exciting to see that you're doing well and doing something so different too.
You got the first, you got the exclusive.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for asking us to talk to you about it. We're really excited, and I'm excited. Like I said, I did sign up because I wanted to see what it was all about and just kind of get a peek. So again, you're going to launch it in July, and I believe Nashville is where you're going to do your launch party. And so maybe we need to go to Nashville. It's one of my favorite cities, so we'll
Yes,
be up
I'm
there.
looking
And
forward to coming back to some of the conferences, seeing old friends. I made a lot of friends in the industry, and we had a good run. But like, I think the vacation rental industry is a super special industry, and glad to be able to talk with y'all again. And we've had some good times over the years at conferences, and I've been watching you and listening to your podcast for the last couple of years and how it's grown and your journeys. And I've always been super impressed with how you've built this and kind of you're doing your own mission to make the industry better. And I've always appreciated that about you guys.
Oh, thank
thank
you.
you.
We appreciate that. All good times over the years for sure. Matt, if anybody wants to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to get in touch and learn more about PassPass?
Well, you could probably LinkedIn, is a good place. I'm on there quite a bit, but you could just go to passpass.com and Google me, Instagram, whatever, Spotify.
Spotify, yeah.
My
All the
monthly
channels.
listeners from 1 to 2.
On your website too, you've got the deck that kind of like goes into depth about the whole program. So anybody that's interested, I would definitely recommend going over there. There's a lot of great information.
Yeah, just, if you want to just have a conversation, you got questions, let me know, no pressure. I'm not selling software now.
Yeah.
Promise I won't try to
This
sell you
is
software.
way less expensive than what you've been selling in the past. So
Exactly. I get to give money back to all these people now. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
love
isn't that nice?
that.
I love it. Well, if anybody wants to get in touch with Annie and I, you can go to alexandanniepodcast.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in, everybody.